I'd like to introduce Annette Smith. Annette Smith was born on December 3rd, 1927. I'll save you all doing the maths. She turned 95 last December. I've had the privilege of knowing Annette for 40 years, so she was a spring chicken of 55 when I first met Annette. And over the years, we've met regularly. We've had conversations about all kinds of things. Annette was bereaved quite young, in her early 50s. I think you were 57, 58 years old, Annette, is that correct?
I was a bit older than that. I was just in my 60s. Yes.
You may have just turned 60.
Just turned 60.
Just turned 60. And I remember attending Annette's husband John's funeral. And so Annette was single with 3 children, 3 adult children already at that point. And she has lived her life the best way she can. Now, you want to know a lot more about Annette's early life. Annette was born in Grenada, and she came to the United Kingdom in the 40s. And she's told us a lot about that, and about stories of unconscious biases, and about her growing up in Grenada. That, if you do want to listen to, please do find it in the earlier seasons. I think it might be in season 4 or season 5.
Yeah.
But today, the purpose of today is to speak to Annette about old age. Now, the reason I want to do this is I have visited Annette often, and I was just saying to Annette that I come by and I drop in on her and I have a chat with her about something or the other, and after we've chatted I leave and I feel energized. What can we all learn about getting old? Because unless you're unfortunate and you die fairly young, most of us the world over will live to an old age, whatever old means. It could be 80, it could be 90, and some people could even be 100. And so what can we learn from Annette as we get older? What kind of understandings do we have about old age? So that's the purpose of today's conversation. So I am so thrilled that Annette has accepted that she's going to talk to me and give us all her secrets about getting old.
Thank you, Smita.
So first question to you, Annette, really,
Yes.
is this whole idea of the old age. When did you say to yourself, oh God, I'm old now? How old were you then?
I think possibly when I was 90.
When you turned
It
90?
was a big 90. It made me sit up and think, oh yes, I am old now. Yes. But then I thought, well, I'll make the most of it, because 5 years ago I was in reasonably good health, which I'm not now. So, and this is what you've got to think of. You've got to think of how you're going to lead your life in your very old age, actually. And you've got limitations, and you've got to stick by that. But then you can get I still get a lot of joy out of life. A lot of joy out of life. But then I'm lucky, I've got a lovely family. My daughter is so very good to me. I'm also lucky that I can still live on my own. I'm quite independent, though very arthritic, and I have to use a stair lift. But other than that, I manage reasonably well. And I'm also lucky because, as Smita has said, she comes to see me, and lots of other people come to see me. And it benefits Smita, it benefits them, but it benefits me as well.
Okay, so let's just unpick a few of those things you just said, Annette. First, the fact, and I'm just saying this to myself, you finally said to yourself, I am old at the age of 90, when you had that big birthday.
Yes.
And then you also said to yourself, I must spend the rest of my years as best as I can.
Yes.
But let's go back to when you were 87, 88, 89. Now, those days, 80, when you did your big 80th birthday, when you did your big 70th birthday, go back 25 years, go back 15 years, and think about those big birthdays, because You have a loving family, and I suspect they threw birthday parties for you.
Yes, they
for your
did.
60th, for your 70th,
Yes, they did.
for your 80th.
And one birthday parties that I didn't want, actually.
Right. But let me try and understand from you, what was different about you when you turned 80, where you didn't say to yourself, I am old, but you did when you were 90?
Because of because really bodily, I couldn't move as quickly, I couldn't do things as quickly, and I couldn't think as quickly.
Okay, what does quickly mean? Let's also understand that in the context of becoming old. So obviously we're not talking about a 35-year-old quickly.
No.
So what could you do at 85 that you find difficult to do when you turn 90? Or not as quickly?
Go out of my front door and walk to the park and walk along the road. And this is what I find very difficult now.
To walk at all, or to walk quickly?
To walk as much as I used to. Yeah.
Right. So that's because I just wanted to first look at the idea of what does feeling old mean? What is acknowledging to ourselves that I am old? Because we all, including me, I'm 61 for the benefit of this conversation.
Yes.
And often, and this is something that I must change, I say to myself, I don't use the word old, but I say I am 61, and I realize that I'm not able to do things the way I used to. So that's not a good mindset, is it?
No, not at all. You mustn't go there so young.
But you didn't. You
didn't, no.
When you were bereaved, you were a widow in your early 60s.
Yes.
You no longer have the companion that you had hoped to grow old with.
No.
And yet, you didn't feel sorry for yourself.
No, I didn't. You realise that you've got to just pick yourself up and get on with life. And I had my dear old mother living with me. And extraordinarily, that did help. Though she was quite ill, but it taught me a lesson, because she coped with very old age, and she coped very well indeed. She accepted things getting not too good for her, getting worse for her, and the way she accepted it was that I think it helped her, because a lot of people used to come and see her. She was dearly loved, as you know, and I took a lesson from her. And I think that is helping me.
So, absolutely, and I remember your mother very well.
Yes.
We all called her grandma.
Yes.
And she was a delightful woman.
Yes.
Very positive, very friendly, full of life, for want of a better word.
Yes.
She really was. But when you're saying you took lessons from her, what are these lessons? Can you teach us?
I think one of the things she used to say to me was, never ever be bitter. No matter how awful you think of people or things, never be bitter, because it just eats into you. So accept it and think about it. And if it needs forgiveness, forgive it. And also the other thing she would say was that it is so delightful just to sit in a chair, have people come to see you and enjoy their company, their laughter. And that has helped me a lot, because a lot of people come here and they sit down in a chair and we just chat. And when they get up to go, they say to me, well, I did enjoy that, Annette.
Well, I already told you that. I already told you that.
And also, so we were having a dance around, we were just sitting and talking to each other. And I think that it's a gift that I have, listening.
Okay, so that's the first thing that we must learn from your mother, from Grandma
Yeah.
and from you.
Yes,
The first point that you're suggesting is for us to listen.
yes,
And you said, do not be bitter. I need to just focus on that a tiny bit. Now, that's hard, isn't it?
it's
Because-
very, very hard.
I mean, I know that both your mum and you would have had, extremely challenging, difficult experiences.
Yes,
And you're saying, accept it, forgive it, and move on. Do not be bitter. What's the mantra? How do you do that?
it's very hard to do. It's very hard to do, and if sometimes you're halfway through it and you think, no, I can't. This isn't working, so to speak.
So, but what do you actually do? Do you say it every day? Because
No.
if it's another human being,
You don't say it every day. You think it every day.
you think it every day.
Yeah. Mm,
Right.
yes.
Okay. And the second point you said, which is clearly why I love coming and chatting with you and
Yes.
leaving energized.
Yes.
Because guess what? You listen.
Yes.
And certainly two words, which are the same word that I would use to describe you, is that Annette is interested and interesting.
Mm. Everybody says that to me, and I do listen. And that I think is so important. A lot of people come through my front door, and as you know, Smith, I live in a very small, quiet road, and I know a lot of my neighbours, and they go past on the pavement and they look through my window and they see me sitting in my chair, as they call it, and they ring the bell and say, oh, I saw you in your chair, Annette, I just thought I'd pop in. So we make a cup of tea, we sit down, and it's just so relaxed and so lovely. And it does me a lot of good as well, Sweeter. They get a lot from me, but I get a lot from them.
What do you get from them?
From them, I get the satisfaction that maybe I'm helping them. I don't know that I've put that very well.
No, that makes sense.
Yes.
Do they bend to you and ask for
somebody,
advice?
a relative who's ill, a husband, or a younger child, or even an addition to their family, or their parents, compare with my parents, anything, and inevitably the bad weather.
Or the too hot weather or the too cold weather, inevitably. Because
No,
we
but
live
lovely.
in
It
London.
just is lovely. The two, myself and a friend, we just sit and have a chat. And I enjoy it, I think, as much as they do.
So the first thing is, don't be bitter, because I'm just trying to get lessons here for all of us.
Yes, it's not
second,
easy.
It's not easy.
No.
That is really difficult. Second is to actually listen.
Listen.
But the way you're listening, I suppose if I were to add one more, it's listen with curiosity, isn't it? Listen without judgment.
It's listen without judgment. That's what it is. You've got that right. Yes, it is listen without judgment. That's very important.
Why is it very important? Let's take
And
the
I
obvious.
feel that I know that I have helped that person when they walk out of the door. I know that. Yes.
Right. So, but then
It's
of course,
my gift, I think.
it is your gift.
Yes.
And as you said, you got that gift from your mother.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Because, when I met your mother, I was my early 20s.
Yes, you were.
And I remember meeting her and chatting with her and talking to her and always coming away thinking how full of energy she is.
Yes.
How positive-minded
Yes,
she is.
yes. Very positive she was.
But, so that's the third point, isn't it, Annette?
Yes.
To be positive-minded.
Yes, you have to be very positive.
But what happens if you're naturally negative-minded?
Oh, well, you just crumble away, I think.
But how, if you know...
And I also think that if you're positive, more people are likely to help you when you need help.
Why is that?
Because they think, oh, I'm helping somebody who's benefiting from this, Oh, yes. They don't want to come and see an old lady and she sits in her chair and moans all the time.
You are so right, but I want to state the obvious because often people don't appreciate that. But then, I must also flag up that the brain, the way our brain works, and I've read on this, is that when you're born, you're actually wired, and I'm picking this up for the point, glass half full or glass half empty.
Yeah.
And so some of us, and I fall into, as you said, the positive minded, and I'm very lucky. I always see the glass half full. I just do it without even questioning it.
I know.
But that's just the way my brain is wired.
Yes.
That's my luck.
Yes.
But I know many, many people who are not able to do that.
They're not able to do it.
So, and it's not a criticism, it's not a negativity, because they have it harder, don't they?
Yes. Yes, they do, don't they? Yes.
And there would be people listening to this interview saying, but I don't know how to do that. So I suppose for those people, it really is about trying consciously, working hard at reframing your brain and the way we think.
Yes, I suppose to think positively, but it isn't easy.
No.
Because those people, I think, have been in that mood, if that's the right word, for so many years, and they don't know how to get out of it. And I think the important thing too at our age is to have interests.
So tell us about that.
Well, at my very old age, I still am a member of a singing group, which I love. And I must say that I do have a good voice. I've always been able to sing from school days. So that is one of the lovely things that I do. I'm very interested in poetry, as you know. And we did have a poetry group, which was very successful. But like so many other people, since COVID, we haven't got it started again.
That's such a pity, isn't it?
It is so sad. We've tried once or twice and it hasn't happened. Also, I do read quite a lot, but unfortunately my vision is not good at all. So I'm finding that very difficult. And I just love, the other thing is that I love nature. I am fortunate enough to be able to walk to the small park near where I live. And I have to defend, there you are, I have to defend because of my arthritic state and my heart condition on my very lovely daughter to take me here, there, and which she does.
Which she does,
yes.
with great love and joy,
yes,
I can see that.
Great love and joy, and my sons do their bit as well. So I have some lovely grandchildren, but I tried to keep an interest in everything.
Tell us about your singing group. So you go physically.
Singing group, yes.
Because I had to make an appointment to see you today. Oh, I have a singing group. I'm not busy. I'm not free. I can't see you. Tuesday afternoon will do.
Many years ago, someone had gone into the library, in the Wimbledon Library, and seen this leaflet put up and seen about a singing group for over 50s. It's a thing started by Merton Council. And she said, oh, look, I've got one of these for you. I think you'll be interested in this. And so I did. I went and started, and I haven't stopped.
So you have been going to the singing group for the last 40 years? Oh, how wonderful. And what kind of songs do you sing?
Oh, a variety of songs. I'll give you an instant. With the coronation, we were asked by, I can't remember who it was, but a group of people, if we would, they were celebrating the coronation and having a tea and that sort of thing. And we were asked to go and sing there. And it was so interesting because we had to decide which songs we were going to sing. And we decided we would sing songs representing the Commonwealth. Rather
well done, you!
And it was so
Why does that not surprise me?
I know. And one of the things that we had to learn was a Maori song.
Wow.
And that was quite a challenge, but we managed it just about, Very good for everything. It really is.
So sing.
To
So I
sing.
suppose there isn't a singing group.
Yeah.
And some of us who are listening are genuinely feeling old.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what age they are.
No.
And they want to do something to keep busy.
Just get up and sing in the morning.
Just sing.
This is what
Okay,
I
so
do.
you haven't got anyone to sing with. That's what you do.
I do.
Tell us about this. You get up in the morning and?
And I have a song in my head,
Mm-hmm.
and I start singing it.
And did the song change every day in your head?
Yes.
What song was it this morning?
This morning, I was thinking of a song, a hillbilly song.
Oh, wonderful.
I didn't remember all the words.
That doesn't matter though, does it?
But it was wonderful.
So
Yes.
singing. So
It does
singing.
help you. Singing helps.
You
Yeah.
for lots of things. And if you
Lots
don't
of
have a
things.
singing group,
And it
you can
helps
still
your-
go and
it
sing.
helps your breathing, it helps loads of things. And you feel so much better.
yes,
Oh,
you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And you love poetry, and you were
Yes,
part
I
of a
do.
poetry group,
Yes.
which sadly you're no longer part of.
No, it doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist, but
Right.
you were for many, many years. So you
It's
have
very sad.
so interests now.
Mm.
If you can't, if you're not interested in poetry, you don't have to be. But find something that interests you.
Mm.
And nature, if you're able to, even with a stick, even with somebody's help, go somewhere. If you're living in a flat, go somewhere to the nearest bit of grass,
Yes.
the nearest bit of tree,
Yes, it's wonderful.
so you can appreciate nature.
Mm.
See if you can sing.
Yes.
If you've got the eyesight for it, read.
Read, yes. And it doesn't matter what you read, just read.
Just read.
Yes.
Just read.
Yeah.
And of course, engage with people.
Yes.
But when you're engaging with people, listen without judgment.
Mm. Absolutely listen without judgment.
Okay, let's talk about something a little bit more, for want of a better word, serious.
Yes.
So you're old, you're 95,
Yes.
and the chances are that you have less years to live
Yes.
than many of us
Many
around
of
you.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is your opinion on death?
I talk about death to my children. Oh, Mum, you don't want to see that. I said, yes, I do.
Yes, you must.
We all have to die.
We all have to die.
I have sat down and I have written in a book and I've showed them what I want my funeral service to be like.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The hymns that I want sung. I want sung a Harry Belafonte song.
Ah, yes, please. I'm coming, okay? I better you
yes,
invite
must
me. I'm
come.
coming.
Island in the Sun.
Oh, yes, perfect.
You know,
Island in the
which
Sun.
would be
Harry
wonderful.
Belafonte. Oh, I love
The
it.
hymns that I love, and some poetry.
And which poems? Have you already thought of those?
One of the poems I want. I've got such a great love of London, which I always have done, and I want. I think Philip, my youngest son, says that he will do the poem for me from Waterloo Bridge, from Westminster Bridge. Sorry.
I think, isn't it Waterloo Bridge?
No, it's Westminster.
Westminster Bridge,
From
correct.
Westminster Bridge.
Right.
It's short and absolutely beautiful. So
Lovely.
you see that you.
So you've talked about
I've talked
what
about
needs to be done when you're dead.
Yes, yes.
And Island in the Sun, for those of us who are listening,
Yes.
is because you came from an island
Yeah,
in the
I
sun.
did.
And that's why you want Harry Belafonte's
That's
song.
right, yes.
But what about the idea of dying? What does that mean to you?
I don't. The dying process. No, not looking forward to that.
So what do you
Because
think?
I've seen so many of my friends and my mother and everyone, the dying process. And I always think that people shouldn't have to be resuscitated.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to write that somewhere. If
You
time
must.
comes, I
Yeah.
will write it. I'm also, it's a hard one, the dying one, you know. Because people don't like to listen when you talk about it. I mean, my children keep on saying, oh, when I told them about what I wanted for my funeral, and I even said the sort of coffin I want. Oh, Mum, you don't want to think about that. I said, yes, I do. So you have to be very realistic. We all have to die. But it is the dying process, I think, that's very, very, very hard. Yeah. Yeah.
But you thought about it.
Yes.
And as you correctly said, we have no control over it.
We have no control whatsoever. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just come back to the beginning, Annette. We've talked about the idea of getting old. I'm just trying to help myself learn lessons from you.
Yes.
So that when I am older, I can remember you and I can say, yes, Annette said that, Annette said that, Annette said the other, and try and remember these little lessons. It's continuously being interested in life.
Yes.
Whatever that is.
Absolutely.
Whatever that looks like to you personally.
Absolutely.
If it's poetry, it's poetry.
Yes.
If it's singing, it's
Yes.
singing.
If it's walking along
It's
the riverbank,
then
it's
walking
that.
along the
Yes.
riverbank.
Yes.
It's also, and something that we forgot to mention, which is very important, is also about the physical exercise. Because when you said walking, I just suddenly realized that it's very important for us to keep physically active all the time.
And this is what I find very difficult, because I suffer from arthritis very, very, very badly. It's difficult for me to sort of say, I'll go for a walk today, because it depends on how I feel. How much pain I'm in, and it is your it is your health, how good or bad your health is. It's very difficult in old age, and mine isn't good. It really isn't. Some days better than others.
As we all are.
As
any
we all
age.
are.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So that's hard. Not being able to do what you used to be able to do without thinking about it. Yeah.
Yes, I understand that. But then but then again, it comes back to the mind and the body, correct? Because you say to me that you are, today you're busy because we've blocked the afternoon to chat about old age.
Yeah.
But you've had you woke up, you haven't had a good day so far.
No.
If I hadn't come today, would you have gone for a walk?
The weather is good, the sun's shining, and
would you have pushed yourself?
I would have pushed myself just a little bit, just maybe to the end of our road and back.
But you would have
just
still
to
done
get a
that.
bit of exercise.
But just move your body.
You have to. Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
Please, listeners.
But
I'm telling myself as much as to anybody else. Please listen, because these are the lessons we have to learn. And as Annette, you mentioned earlier, you live in a home which is an upstairs downstairs home.
Yes.
And you only got a stair lift as recently as 1 year ago.
Yes.
So until the age of 94,
yes,
you were climbing the stairs every day to go to bed.
Yes. It was a bit painful, but I did
But
it.
you did. But you did. And I'm pointing that out because these are things that you took for granted. But I want us to appreciate that it's not everybody takes that for granted.
No, they don't, do they?
No.
I think that for me, the hardest part of living to be my age is losing my independence. I've lost a lot of my independence and I hate it. Having to ask people to do this, that and the other for me. That to me is the biggest thing, really. Yeah, it is. But I can still enjoy life to a certain extent.
And you do.
I do.
And you sing every day.
Yes, I do sing.
And you also go to singing.
Whether it's a hillbilly song or not.
Oh, Annette Smith, it is always such a delight to be with you, to speak to you, and to learn from you about so very many things.
Thank you so much for inviting me to do this.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah, good.
Thank you for your time.
And thank you.
Oh, island in the sun, built to me by my father's hand. All my days I will sing in praise of your forest, waters, your shining sun.
Thank you for listening to Stories Seldom Told. I am Smitha Tharoor. It is you, the listener, that makes this podcast what it is. If you like this podcast, please do share. If any of you anywhere in the world feel that you have stories to share, please do connect with me on social media at Smith Atharur on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or on my company page, Tharur Associates, on Facebook. We will be back next week.
Oh, island in the sun.